Look how colorful I am. When I bought this shirt, the lady that sold it to me, secondhand store, said, if anyone shoots you, you know it's going to be on purpose. And I was thinking about something else at the time. I didn't know why she would say that to me while I'm buying clothes. And then she said that's a hunter orange, so that you don't get shot when you're hunting. So if someone does shoot you, you know it's because they were trying to shoot you. I'm like, oh, good, very good. Love the interaction, thank you. So I woke up last night furious about buying a burrito. And I went to this burrito cart, walked up, there was nobody there. And it's a cook and a person working the cash register, a very young woman, older man, middle-aged, cooking, and ordered a burrito, paid for it. I was noticing that they were doing a lot of talking as I was walking up. It almost looked like flirting. It stopped when I got there, and the guy was like, scrubbing the spatula and whatnot. Yeah, that wasn't your time to turn, bro. Order my burrito, sit down at a table and wait for it. Just like a couple benches. It's a small, tiny little patio. And so I sit down pretty much right next to the cashier. She takes my order. She lifts up a thing that's like a salt or pepper shaker, like a big one, and sets it down on top of my order and says, order up. And then the guy goes back to talking to her and scrubbing on his grill. And that just goes on and on and on. Just watching these two, or watching him flirt with her, and watching him, like, scrubbing the grill and stuff like that. And eventually he starts giving me the side eye over and over and over again. And he asks her in Spanish, what's that guy doing there? She says, no say. So he's like, well, find out what he's doing here. And she's like, hi, well, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm waiting for my chicken burrito. And she turns to him and says, he says he's waiting for a chicken burrito. And he angrily yells at me. She turns around and says, you haven't ordered a chicken burrito. And I said, yeah, I ordered a chicken burrito like 15 minutes ago. And I've been waiting for it ever since, watching you guys talk. And she turns around and tells him that. And he says, well, if he ordered a chicken burrito, then where is his order? And then they both look down at the salt and pepper shaker or whatever that thing is, grinder, and then there's my order underneath it. And then he whips it up and like angrily demands, well, if you took his order, why didn't you tell me? Which, of course, the answer there is like, she did, but probably the reason why she's letting him flirt with her seemingly never-endingly is because she doesn't want to lose that job. And so he makes my burrito, and I'm out of there in took about 35 minutes to get my burrito. And so I wake up furious about that. And I kind of thought, like, that's a weird thing to wake up and be furious about. But then I remember, also, like, this shirt, if someone shoots you, it's going to be on purpose. Just right out of fucking nowhere. And that's like every day. Like that is going to restaurants. That is dealing with the public. Watch this person spend like 10, 15, maybe in the end 20, 25 minutes trying not to do something the right way yesterday. And like something that they could easily do. And they tried like scams, they tried telling lies, and in the end, costing them no extra money. They just went ahead and did things the right way and got what they wanted. Spent 25 minutes on that. And ordinarily, I'd say, like, a lot of times I watch someone take a really long time to do something, and I think they just don't want to go home. Like, they'd rather have everything take as long as possible, so getting home gets delayed as long as possible. I went and met a friend of a friend for drinks, and I said, all right, well, it was really nice meeting you. And she's like, well, you guys are leaving? I'm like, well, yeah, we're going to go see a movie. And she's like, well, I told my husband I'm not going to be back till 9, and goddamn it, I'll sit here by myself if I have to. I'm like, wow. But there's a huge amount of people like that. They'd rather, like, they're sitting in a loud, noisy bar by themselves, which is fine. I'd be fine with that if, like, you just wanted to go out and have some drinks and enjoy yourself. But to do it just to avoid going back to your house and talking to your husband. And I realized, like, that my burnout is a huge amount of that. It's a huge amount of talking to people, and I realized this person can't understand me. Like, this person came in and said something about, she's an older woman, she's like, she's got the road, she's like, the roads are full of people. I'm passing RVs and homeless people along the road, and people are rude. She was just complaining about society. It's like, she came to the right spot for that. And I said, well, actually, that's interesting you should say that, because just last night I looked up statistics on Oregon on crime, homicide, property theft, and homelessness. Oh, and unemployment. And I came to 3 big downturns in Oregon, starting with the Great Depression. And she says, are you a police officer? So she's talking about how bad Portland is. And she comes to my work. And I start describing, looking up the history of times where these things have been just as worse, with crime, murder, homelessness, unemployment, etc. And she interrupts me to ask, are you a police officer? I'll often be talking with someone and have to restart the entire conversation because they're trying to figure out what I'm gonna say, and I try to actually communicate in paragraphs to, like, here is the theme. I want to talk to you about Oregon being in times Oregon's been in worse shape than it is now, and then how our current situation compares to past depressions and economic downturns. And then I'll start talking, and that person will go, are you a police officer? Or, like, I'll just have to start the whole thing again and let them know, okay, so this is what we're talking about. This is what you said. Like, I did a restart of a conversation not too long ago. Well, you walked up and said this, so I responded to what you were saying. So you know what the topic was because you were the one that started the topic. And I went back and forth, and when we were done, when I had repeated everything they had said and everything I had said, they said, then, how do you remember all that? And I said, because it just now happened. But then they are talking to me, but are they really talking to me? Because I had this thing happen a while ago. I can't remember how many it was. I think it was 7. It was 7 repetitions of the same question. And he would respond every single time. And so I would listen to what he would say, realize he wasn't answering my question. I would then answer his question, and then I would re-ask the question that he hasn't answered. And I'm pretty sure it was 7 times. And after 7, I said, hey, I don't want to upset you or be uncool. I don't mean this in a mean way at all. But I've asked you the same question 7 times in a row, and you've yet to answer me. And he kind of like, and so I'm like, can you tell me what's going on? Can you tell me what you're hearing? And he thought for a moment. He's like, oh, and then he answered me. And then he just kind of looked at the weather a little bit, and like, how's my jacket fit? And I'm like, okay, well, thanks for the answer, but if you can, I would really like you to answer the last question I asked you. And he looked confused. I said, which is, I've asked you the same question 7 times. What are you hearing? If you're not hearing me ask the question, what are you hearing? And then he thought about it some more, and he said, oh, I guess I assume you're like, hey, how you doing? Welcome. Like worker dialogue, like dialogue that isn't really important. Like, hi, how are you today? Like, fine, how are you? I'm good. What can I? It's like ritual words. So he literally was hearing like that cartoon. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I want to buy an apple today. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, it was a really good day. All right, here's your money. Wah, 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 wah. No, thanks you anyway. So, all right, you have a good day. Wah, wah. Like, I get incredibly burnt out on that kind of thing. Like, I can't stand. It's like going to an insane asylum, essentially, every time I go to work. And a lot of people, I think, don't understand this. And so I had a friend that worked in a professional field, highly educated. They were well sought after in their field. They did a lot of independent contracting work outside of their work because they were in such high demand. Like they had to have their contract rewritten. They're like, well, no, you can't work for the competition. And they're like, well, it really seems like my skills are in high demand here, so I could continue working for you and any of the competition that wants to hire me. Or if you have to let me go, that's fine. And they're like, okay, you could work for other people. And then later they went to go get a job at a grocery store. And they didn't last a couple months. And that's what they were talking about. They're like, what is going on? Like, who are these people? And I'm like, those are the people that most people get to avoid their whole lives. Like when I was working downtown, and I worked with nothing but professionals, or when I was working in advertising, or even travel for the most part. If we're working with nothing but professionals, it's a completely different world. Absolute, complete different world. Like you meet a whole different kind of society. The whole, like, most men live lives of quiet desperation. It's not that. That's not what most men are living lives of. Most men are living lives of a kind of helplessness.